cost more than $300 now, which is insane, but that's real. It's insane. So someone stealing one pair of Jordans is now charged with a felony retail theft. He goes before a judge, and the judge sets his bond at $3,000. For $300. Now he can't afford. You have to only post 10% of your bond.
Right.
So 10% of that would be $300, which is in essence the cost of the shoe. If he then cannot post that bond, he must sit in jail until his court date, at a cost to you of $160 a day.
Just for him sitting in jail.
Correct.
So in 2 days, he basically $300.
Correct.
So you might as well send him home.
Correct. And the goal, right? And the goal is you rather, and in most retail theft cases, you got the product back, right?
Wow.
In order for us to charge you, by the time we have to catch you leaving the last point of sale, someone's got you, you got the merchandise, you don't have a receipt, they like, he didn't pay for this, they get the merchandise back, and then you're arrested. Wow. So the folks who are the victims, the business owners who had this theft, aren't out of the product. Wow. They got their $300 back, and we got
a bill.
Right. So that's why we have to work on these things that don't seem to have a big impact. You're like, why does that matter? Why does bail reform matter? Because as taxpayers, we spend almost $500 million in Cook County maintaining our criminal justice system. The biggest portion of that is our jail. Because of that, we were under a consent decree from the federal courts for years for overcrowding. If you peeled the layer back and saw who was in the jail and why, what we found that disproportionately they were poor and they were people of color. But mostly poor. Not people weren't there because they were so dangerous they didn't have anywhere to go. They couldn't post low levels of bond for offenses like these. And so that's why we worked on bond reform. Because we want the shooters, the people who have no regard for the lives of the people in our neighborhood, I want them in jail. I don't want you to be able to have a check to write to get out. And what was happening was we had some folks who involved in activity, right, that alternate economy. They do what you do. They do, an assessment of risk. If I engage in this, if I get caught, the likelihood is I might have to pay this. And then they have their money, their rainy day fund. You know what I'm saying? Set so that they get a bail. If a judge gave somebody $100,000 bail on a shooting, $10,000 is nothing, depending on what work you do. And so what we were seeing was those guys were getting out. And those guys were continuing to cause havoc. But we assessed their safety by money. And people don't know that. And last point on this, jail, Cook County Jail is where you go before trial. Before trial. It is not after you serve a sentence. It's not, you've not been found guilty. The premise of innocent until proven guilty, my job is to prove you guilty. You have not yet even gone to trial. So we have people who are sitting in our jail for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, having not yet been found guilty. Many of them because they are poor.
Not even one trial yet.
No, sir. And we pay for that. So bond reform, people get nervous. And I will tell you, people who go on bond, some people wild out and you're like, wow, you really wild like that. Like, you need to come back. Most people do what they need to do. And in other jurisdictions, they see that you letting people out on bond, giving them electronic monitoring, giving them a curfew, giving them a text message to remind them of their court date. Like, you go to the dentist and they like, if you're not here, you're going to have to pay your extra copay. A text. If you don't come to court tomorrow, you're going to jail. Most people, when they get the text, like, that's right, I got to go to court tomorrow. Those simple innovations, which are a lot less expensive, and making sure that we aren't paying for the people who aren't causing us the most harm. So we worked on bond reform. We raised the retail theft for us threshold to $1,000, and people freaked. People were like, you just want people to steal you. I absolutely don't. People are still getting their stuff back. I want the person who is stealing to feed a drug habit to go to drug treatment, because you probably are less likely to steal to feed that if you don't have the habit. And if we don't have an honest conversation about what the constellation of issues that people have, we will continue to pour money into the wrong way of treatment.
Can
And
I?
so- yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
While this thought is still in my mind, because you know I have a lot of thoughts, and
Yeah.
in
Go
our
for
system and neighborhood, everything, we would probably be here to Christmas
Yeah.
talking about what needs to be fixed and
Go
how to
for it.
fix it and stuff. And I know it's a lot of political stuff.
Yeah.
My problem's always been, and I know it's a lot of us that's locked up and stuff, and some of us, for what I can see, in certain instances where I've witnessed, some of us are just criminals.
That's right.
Plain and simple.
That's
We're
right.
just criminals. Now, my question is, well, first of all, I want to thank the chamber here, because as long as I've known Tanya, she's always tried to bring vital information and projects and subjects to our attention. It's almost like when I was volunteering or working so much with the schools and working on different committees, you know, as far as that participation, it's always been few, but no sooner it's a problem or issue, they come out like roaches when the lights go. I mean, they just come out. But when you're trying to educate people or show them that we can do this, but we have to do some stuff sort of like collectively come together and do it. Great minds can achieve great things. But I really appreciate Tanya for what she's done. Congratulations on your new position. And hopefully there will be some positive changes. My situation, my thought here with South Shore, it's such a vibrant area. I mean, it used to be so vibrant. And I understand that when they tore the projects down, and them folks had to be instituted into the neighborhood, I don't care what you say, when folks are used to a certain lifestyle, they're going to take that mentality with them. And wherever they go, that mentality goes. Now, unless you have certain things in place to try to divert that and educate that and stuff, and seem like the ones on the low totem pole. If we're on the low totem pole, we're the first one to get everything cut. But nobody speaks up, or nobody have that tenacity or group, or where's the leaders to bring it back. And then we're always looking for somebody else to save us. We got it.
That's right.
We got so many problems, so many complaints, but what do? So, but with South Shore, that 71st Street corridor, you know, could be vibrant again. The bank that used to be there. I mean, it's so many avenues, so many things in South Shore that could be brought back up. It broke my heart when I saw Stable leave, because Stable was was an important piece of the community. You know, was here, and then all of a sudden it was gone. Walgreens missed that, but I understood they got Walgreens almost in every third block or so. So I know we was in between 3 Walgreens. But with Stable, it was good for the community. So that way we didn't have to run down to Hyde Park all the time, the Office Depot that's been there for years. So they took that. It wasn't nothing wrong with Staples. Staples was business was out the box. But like you said, they have to look at the incomes of the community to see if they're going to generate enough money, and the crime rates and all of that stuff. I got that, you know, being a realtor/event planner, I got all of that. So yeah, me like anybody else, if I normally know that this is not a good area to go into, I'm going to try to keep my little dark ass out of there. Because I don't want to get hurt, and I ain't trying to hurt nobody. I'm in the process of conceal and carry. I don't want to be, but just like I heard on the news, people are, folks, it's crazy just to be shooting. I lost my godson, just standing on the corner talking to some folks. They just drove by and killed him. Killed about 3 of them, just standing there talking. Our folks killing our folks. Our kids killing our kids. Boys that look just like them. But that's that mentality. Unless we could do something to change it and put them involved in something.
Yeah, so let me.
But wait, one last thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Then when you answer all of that, the aldermen, what is their role and what the hell do they do?
Okay. I'm gonna go back a minute.
And that was the first one.